Oh, baby. Let's fucking read this. Oh, man, this is spicy. So if you guys have been following Final Fantasy 14 stuff, basically Rich Campbell, who is, I guess he was a commentator for Dota or something. This guy recently cleared UCOB, and he's with a lot of really good players. You've got Todd there, you've got Zeph there, Momo, you've got Rin, so they've got a high power group, and they cleared. And you know what? I think a clear is a clear, all right? But you got people in the comments. My favorite one, I fucking dare you to clear someone in this community once every 4 days like you did, this undeserving individual. All you raiders crying about Ultimate canceled, grow your own community instead of simping for fame. Didn't you buy a clear? And yeah, it's just very funny to me. And I actually thought that the person who had, I think, one of my favorite takes on this was Arthur's. Why are people so mad that Rich Campbell cleared and got carried? It's 2021. Just play the game and you will know it can be done, carried or not. Stop being jealous or complaining just because I worked harder back then. That's Final Fantasy 14's downsync / balancing fault, not Rich's. I thought this last sentence was probably the thing that was most interesting to me, because if you clear an ultimate fight and you got quote unquote carried, that's not the game. It's not the player's fault, really, right? If in my opinion, if you make what's considered top tier content, right? Like ultimates in Final Fantasy 14 are supposed to be some of the most brutal, most difficult fights in the game, and I mean, as far as I know, in most MMOs ever, right? Like people herald ultimates as being this pinnacle of MMO raid difficulty. And if one person can get carried, that's the game's fault, you know? That's not the player's fault. That's the game's fault for allowing the systems to be possible like that. The fact that people can do enough damage to, carry one person. Cuz yeah, Rich Campbell had a very OP group, right? I think it's inarguable to say that Rich it's inarguable to say that Rich didn't have just an incredibly stacked group for someone to do an ultimate. And I can understand there probably is a little bit of envy from people who, worked to get their legend title, but the truth is that I think this is all just this. Now, here's the thing. If you want to be mad about someone else's legend title, I still think you're in the wrong, because how you define what a legend means is irrelevant to other people, right? So when I'm learning these ultimates, I want to learn them by struggling through them and to teach myself how to do them and work through it, right? I don't want someone in my ear kind of guiding me along the whole way, right? But that's my definition, right? The only stipulation to being a legend is just clearing the content. And if someone clears the content, even if you bought the content, again, it's not the player's fault. That's Final Fantasy 14's fault. And I think it's also really fair to say, too, that I think Rich did a pretty good job of picking up mechanics. Yeah, when he first started, it was... And, even as you watched him play through UCOB, yeah, he was nowhere near optimal, but he still learned it, he still picked up on things, and yes, Rin's shot calling is insanely good, and definitely brings up the team. But that's not saying that your legend title now means less because Rich Campbell cleared it too, And even if Kuro, even if a carry is when you can lie dead the whole time or paid for it, again, that's still not Rich's fault. Now, I think we can say hey, if you were literally dead weight, you were dead the whole time or you paid for it, yeah, that's pretty disingenuous of a legend clear, sure. I think we can just say that. But I think, if you watch through Rich's VODs, he kind of did learn it. So, I don't know. I think the hard part about this is a lot of people are taking a hard yes, hard no, but it's more like a yes, but no. Is it a carry? Yes. Should we carry? No. I mean, I think there's several questions that you have to ask. Is the first one that I think people need to get over is Rich's clear legitimate? Yes, it's legitimate. Now, was Rich elevated? I don't want to use the word carried because I think it has too much of a negative connotation. Was Rich elevated by the people around him? Also, yes, right? Like, I think that's totally fair, right? But a clear, his clear is still legitimate. I think that's just the end all be all, okay? And I think people just need to just let it go. And if people are out there being like, oh God, like Rich clearing UConn, I mean, that shit, like, so if that somehow affects you, that's on you, buddy. That's like, it's embarrassing to see so many people come in here and be so salty about this, you know? Either way, people are going to say he got carried. Yeah, I mean, no matter what happens, right? Like, people are going to say he was carried. And the thing, too, is that, like, sure, fine. He was, elevated to a certain level. But I think his clear was legitimate, and he has VODs to prove it, you know? Clear just for the title and Xmog, that's cool, but people aren't stupid. That's what trials are for. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, the thing is, like, people have to separate being a legend and being a good player, just like we've separated being a mentor and being a good player, right? There's two, like, people sort of confuse the two, I think, where people say, like, oh, because I cleared something, that means I'm a good player. Like, no, right? Like, being a good player in Final Fantasy XIV in particular has, like, so many, like, soft skills and so much, like, other random shit around it that, like, you equating that is already just not true, right? Achievement shouldn't ever have value based on putting other people's achievement down. Yeah, I mean, that stuff is already nonsense, right? Like, if you have to put someone else's achievement down to make yourself feel good, like, oh, you didn't clear it back when it was relevant content. Oh, you didn't clear with 7 other fresh people. Oh, you didn't clear it within 50 hours of raid prog time. Like, it's dumb. I mean, like, there's infinite stipulations to that. Oh, you use Cactbot and we didn't. Our clear is more legitimate. Oh, you didn't clear it with Yoshi P's approval and his watchful eye watching your clear and making sure you did things the exact way that it was meant to be cleared. Like, man, get out of here, right? Like, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. So, I wanted to talk about it mainly because, like, I think ultimates are difficult, you know, and I think that I think that calling Rich's experience through ultimate being the way that ultimates go is also disingenuous, you know. So, like, I think one of the tricky things is that, like, I'm glad that it was shown that, like, anyone can jump in to UCOB and clear, potentially. But I do think it's disingenuous because I do think that, like, Rich had really, really good mentors and people to help him through everything, and not everyone's gonna have that. But I hope that people do find that, like, hey, maybe ultimates aren't just, like, this thing for the ultra elite. Like, people can do it, and, like, you don't have to be the most optimal player to do it. I don't know. But, I mean, everyone called it. You know, Xenos called it beforehand. He was like, yo, no matter what you do, you're gonna be called carried anyways. So might as well just do the thing that makes the most sense for your content, which is to have 7 legends. And I'm glad he did that. So, yeah, Ultimate Legend. I'm living proof. I think I'm getting there to being a pretty damn good player at this game. But, like, you know, I fuck shit up all the time. The Legend sounds pretentious anyways. I prefer some of the 1.0 titles. I mean, I love the Legend titles personally. I don't care if it's pretentious. Actually, the fact that it's pretentious makes it feel better to me. You know, I want the perfect Legend title so that people know I'm perfect and a legend. Xeno dunking on Reddit. Wait, is there something on Reddit? Oh, baby. Let's fucking read this. Oh, man, this is spicy. This is fucking spicy. Here we go. Okay. So let's read the top comment first. People seeing a lot of negative reactions. Is probably because the silliest and most choleric responses get snipped and passed around. Blah, blah, blah. Prog was less than a week, but he put in long hours. Probably 30 to 40 hours. Sure. Yukabu are much easier than they are now, than they were in Stormblood. Due to gear, posing change in strats. Yes, there are still instant mechanics, but no, that does not mean the fight is immune to power creep. Okay, yep, okay. Rich himself will be the first to tell you it was a big group effort to get him through that fast. Did he get carried? Sure, I wouldn't disagree with that. It's an absolutely massive advantage to get it clear, basically by, but yep, okay, But he also studied up, yeah, oh, okay, I mean, yo, all right. This guy, right off the bat, I feel like nailed it. I feel like they fucking nailed it. Oh, yep, Xeno, yep, yep, 100%, yep. So many people keep a fight they haven't cleared. Yep. Oh man, I don't know, man. I feel like Reddit's kind of nailing this one. Although I think in the some of the replies, people get a little bit saltier. It's sort of like congratulating a rich kid getting into Harvard. Except like this is the wrong way to think about it. And also getting into Harvard too is, you know, we realize that like becoming a legend, going to Harvard, getting into Harvard doesn't automatically mean you're smart. Beating UCOMP doesn't mean you're automatically a good player of Final Fantasy 14. Boom. Hard to say that's a carry when he does all the mechanics so cleanly. Riches. Okay, so we've got the I means. Okay. Technically, Xell does exist, but it's like dead. We don't have many people. I'm too small of a streamer, man. But hey, if people wanted to start up Xell, I'm down. I am super down. If we wanted to start that shit up, I'm so down. And I'll share everything that's related to the things I like on Xell. Because I enjoy Reddit. That's where I spend a lot of my time. So yeah. That's pretty much all there is to say with the UCOP stuff. I mean, yeah, I get, you know, like most of us aren't gonna go in with a group of like literally some of the best people who have played this game. You know, like Rin, Momo, like these are some of the best people ever. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the easy thing to end on with that is just like, yeah, his clear was legitimate. Did he have a very strong group to do it with? Sure. But like, if we start to nitpick then about like what is considered legitimate based off of the strength of your group or when you cleared it, there's literally infinite stipulations that you can make to make yourself feel better. And in the end, it's pathetic. So.